Hey there guys, welcome to another Getting Personal. Today's Getting Personal is called Rigidity. This is something that I want to discuss where we have various topics of being quite rigid with life, with the behaviors that we have in life. We tend to become more rigid, thinking that these things can help us, being more strict on ourselves. And so today I want to discuss the rigidity that we might have for everything in life, all these things that are fundamentally kind of the things that we tend to believe that if we're more rigid, that maybe work and life will play out in a better way. So today I'm going to discuss these things. So let's go ahead and then start going our way at it and listing things that will eat it up and give you a different view on it. So today I wanted to discuss what rigidity is. It's basically one's view on things, one's behavior on things, one's kind of like going about their daily life thinking, I shouldn't do this, maybe I will be really strict with my work schedule, or I won't eat this food at all, or I won't watch this thing at all. So we tend to be very strict on ourselves, and we can get carried away with it. I've been guilty of doing it when we're trying to be really regimented with our routines or something like that, where we kind of go, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this exactly to the letter. And this fundamentally creates a sense of anxiety around it, urgency, various things that we think we can't kind of slip away from. And with that rigidity, it really kind of corners our beliefs, our emotions, everything around it. And I have a saying that I kind of coined, where by breaking rigidity gives rise to fluidity, right? Because you need to break those things. That it's not saying that you shouldn't be strict or slightly strict with things or kind of have a good habit in place, but by breaking your rigidity, it will give rise to fluidity. Things will flow after that. And this is something that I've always said to myself, because I know that I can be too rigid with stuff, and then that can really snowball, and you're as if you've made a snowball and it's rolled down the hill into a square block, and that's all you're good for. You've just made yourself so rigid, and somehow you are in that kind of a flowy state where you're kind of like umming and ahhing between yeah, I'll reward myself for this, I'll do this, and not become really strict with stuff. Because I think it can be really easy, because it's like this, it's a routine. It's like being, you could almost military kind of self to yourself, being militarized to yourself, and just yeah, I'm going to be really regiment, do this, and do this. And what happens is, boy oh boy, you'll start to crack after that, because you need to let go. You need to pull the reins back, and just by breaking rigidity gives rise to fluidity. And let go, right? You gotta be strict on some things, but you can't be religious on things. Being religious on things, you'll crack, you'll pop, and that's not a good thing. So you need to learn to just go, I'll let those things go, right? I'll just let it go and just flow with it. And so if you have a really strict work routine, and you're finding it really kind of disabling in the sense that you don't feel like you're having fun, add in some fun stuff in between there, and just take it easy for a little bit. You need to just let go. So say for work, you want to do something for work, and you want to explore something with work. You don't always have to sit down and be productive, because with being super productive, that's exactly what you're going to get. Productive is for not being explorative and not being imaginative. So if you want to sit there and you want to figure out something new for yourself, work on a new type of thing, a new idea, you have to just break that rigidity, and then things will come to you, because you're almost you're set this kind of thing inside of your head, and you're this is what I do when I sit on the computer, and this is what I work on, and I do this and this and this. And then you end up just producing the same thing, and then you kind of go a little bit crazy, because what you do is doing the same thing. And what's the act of insanity is to do the same thing again and again. Within that, you can do something different. You can look at something different. You can play with something different. You just try a new technique. It only has to be 10% different to be different, which produces a big result at the end of it. So this is my advice, guys. Just by breaking rigidity, it gives rise to fluidity, and it will kind of just free you up. It will make you breathe again. It will make you have a sigh of relief when you become so strict with, I got to get this done, I got to do this, I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, and boom, you would just like find yourself pushing against resistance after a while. And that resistance is not the resistance of like, I don't want to do it because it's like hard. It's actually because you've been so strict on yourself. You've been religiously strict on sitting down, doing this thing, and what happens is just you want to explode a bit at the end of it. So this is where rigidity, and even if you're a day life, can come to play with it, and just learn to, like, you could take a day off where you're not having to take time off on the exact same day of the week too, and you'd be like, I want to take Tuesday off instead of just taking a Sunday or Saturday off. And a lot of people can do this because we all work from home. You can shift your days around, and that will kind of change things up. And maybe wake up earlier than you wake up at 8, wake up at 6, and so you're breaking that rigid cycle for yourself. It might not feel good, but after a while, once you start getting that routine of waking up earlier and then going to bed earlier, like you become a little bit more, hey, I can do this too. Change things up. Try and find opportunities to change things. Where you weren't socializing before, maybe you'll socialize, because these things will kind of boost you up to come back to work and then be refreshed and kind of be like, oh, well, that was nice. And because you become in that like routine thing, well, I don't socialize then because this is my routine, this is what I do. But after a while, you have to just wipe that away, give something else a shot, and just go with the flow. By breaking rigidity gives rise to fluidity. So I'm going to end on that note. It's not a very long video today. Like and subscribe. Feel free to comment. Until next time, guys, break that rigidity because it will give rise to fluidity. And I said it again because I want it to stick. Until next time, guys, take care.